Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
I said, are you fucking ready to rock and roll?
Woo!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to TMI Fantasy Sports Podcast. We're cold kicking it live with my homeboy Rahli Mendez, aka Raw Beats, where the E is a 3. I'll be the host with the most, Icy Rob Cole, where you might get a cold take every now and then. We coming to you live and in concert. Live and in 3D, so groovy, I might even dig me. We doing it to you in your ear hole.
Get it. What's up, peoples? We're here.
We're here.
Shit.
Welcome to the maiden voyage of TMI Fantasy Sports Podcast. I'm the host, Rob Cole, and I'm kicking it with Rolando Mendez, also known as Raw Beats. Brody, what's going down? What's good? We finally got to this moment. And first, let me apologize to the people that are going to be listening to the show for the delay of the maiden voyage, the first podcast. We're trying to get this off earlier this week. Our apologies, but damn it, here we are.
Launch, baby, and this is for you, Rob. You were asking for this.
There we go.
That's it. So we're here. Shit. Lots to go over today. We got what do we got lined up?
On the show today, we're going to talk about, obviously, we've gotten into the meat of what the podcast is about, which is fantasy football, and to try to help others that are interested in playing fantasy football, never played fantasy football before, those who have played fantasy football and trying to help people win their leagues. So on today's show, we're going to talk about breakouts, comeback players, and limp dicks or whiskey dicks. You take your pick, however you want to say it. You want to explain to the people what a whiskey dick is?
So the whiskey dick is like, that when you go out, you're like, man, it's a good idea to get drunk and get fucked up and maybe go have sex right after, when it can turn out to be pretty bad. So these are picks that sound good, but are a bad idea.
Bad idea. Okay.
That's where we are with it. So, but with that being said, there's a lot of news to cover. So let's dip into the 411. My current events, dive in for a nugget of gem. This could be San Grandum of fun. It's the word on the street, the 411. The 411. Got a lot of injury news out there today. Training camps hitting hard. Preseason's out there. Bear with me. There's quite a bit of injuries, but let's start off with DeAndre Swift. He has a growing injury. Seems like he's going to miss significant time. Jamal Williams is the backup. Anybody that's played fantasy in the past knows that Jamal Williams is an excellent fantasy option when he's given the opportunity.
And that term would be called a handcuff.
There you go. That's it.
All right.
That's it. Hunter Henry missed a couple weeks with a shoulder injury. They are running 12 personnel in New England. So be on the lookout for Jonnu. If he does not play early on in the season, Jonnu might get a bulk of the tight end targets, which is also a handcuff. They'll both play on the field. Rashad Bateman also had growing surgery. He got hurt during training camp, so he'll be out, miss some time going into September. Your boy Carson Wentz.
That was probably the biggest injury of training camp to this point, maybe.
Yeah, I mean
the biggest name, or would you say Dak Prescott?
I think Dak Prescott. Now they're saying that Carson Wentz might be ready to play week 1.
That's what I'm hearing. And
yeah.
So also the All-Pro guard Quentin Nelson, I believe his name is. He had the same surgery,
right?
And he's supposed to be ready to go week 1 as well. That's very crucial to obviously the skill position players. If you're missing an All-Pro guard and your starting quarterback, one would think that that's going to hurt, namely Jonathan Taylor.
Right. And you've seen his ADP drop a little bit already as it is, because, as Rob said, that's crucial. And we'll get into Dak Prescott next. He's supposed to have an MRI next week.
Yeah.
There's people out there saying that maybe they're sprucing it up. They're adding some confetti to this injury just because of Hard Knocks. Who knows? We're taking it for what it is. This is what we will tell you. If Dak Prescott misses early on in the season, that will hurt absolutely every fantasy option on the Dallas Cowboys offense. It doesn't matter who it is. You could be Amari, Ezekiel. It doesn't matter.
They're all going to fall off.
They're all going to fall off. You might be able to get those players at a better price in the draft if that happens. However, just know that you'll probably get off to a slow start. Next up, Justin Jefferson has a sprained AC joint. We don't see it to be significant. If he does also not start off the season, look for Adam Thielen to take a bulk of the targets, along with Irv Smith Jr. He's looked very, very good in the red zone as of training camp. So be on the lookout for that. Elijah Moore has a quad injury. Him and Zach Wilson have developed an excellent chemistry. They see that he'll probably be back, but just something to look out for. Just a couple more. Darren Waller has missed every practice in training camp. Doesn't seem to be significant, so hang in with him. Then you have Zach Moss. He has a hamstring injury. Devin Singletary is the next man up.
Breeder's the next man up. Singletary's the starter.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and
let's jump into the breakouts.
Let's do it.
The feeling of a breakout, drafters never sleep. Pocket with this change out, pay for ADP. You'll never get the same count. This the breakout, boy.
Already. Well, we're going to go over breakouts at every skill position. We'll start with quarterbacks and follow it up with the running backs, wide receiver, and tight end. I'll dive right in and start out. Rahli, I'll give you my breakout quarterback for the year, which is, I don't know, mine might be easier picks, but I'm picking Justin Herbert as my breakout quarterback. And the reason being is he's already had a coming out party. He's already come out. He broke several rookie records, last year. So what I mean by that is I think his numbers will increase. Mm-hmm. I think he may be second only to Patrick Mahomes in passing in the American Conference this year in the AFC. And that's breaking out. I mean, who's he have to compete with? You got Josh Allen in Buffalo, Derek Carr, the Raiders. I think the kids, obviously, it's going to get better. And I think
L-Jack, you got L-Jack on that side?
Lamar Jackson, yeah. Now, I don't know if he'll have more fantasy points than Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson has legs. Right. So, but I'll go as far as to say he's gonna finish second in fantasy quarterbacks. That's why I'm saying that I believe that Justin Herbert's my breakout pick for quarterback. So, and yours being?
I mean, I like your pick 100%. They also added to the offensive line. They addressed all that. They did make 2 offensive line picks in the draft. So I'm with you. We've been raving about Herbert since January. So you know the deal. We just now getting started, though.
The only thing I don't like, if I can add, the only thing I don't like for him, I think he needs another wide receiver to help with his numbers. And the skill position said they got Eckler. Who am I leaving out? The guy I don't like is Mike Williams. I don't know if he's still there.
He is. And then they did get Jared Cook as tight end to replace Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
You don't believe in him?
Dude's name is escaping. He's escaping me right now. He's always sought after in fantasy, but his number one receiver,
Keenan Allen.
That's not enough, I don't think.
Right.
I think he needs another receiver.
Yeah.
To help him with that breakout year. But even with that being said, I still think he's going to have a breakout season. But I think he can break out even more if he had one more receiver. If that makes any sense, if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Mike Williams is a lot of the times he's not available.
Right.
And when he does play, I mean, he may catch 1 or 2 balls for 60 yards, but it's like shooting craps with him. I think he needs another consistent receiver opposite of Keenan Allen that will help him break out even more.
For sure. And I think you could probably find that within the offense. You had, if you recall, there was Keenan Allen was actually out later in the year last year. Mike Williams was a little banged up. And then you had some guys that stepped in and did pretty good. I think that they kept, like Guyton, I think is his last name. They got some guys there that I think can
That
help
are starting to grow and
Yeah.
come along.
contribute that. Not only that,
I'm going to keep my eye on that.
yeah, definitely, and report back. My quarterback breakout for the 2021 season is Jalen Hurts. His fantasy finish was 34th overall last year. He started 4 games. He does have a new offensive coordinator, which actually ties in with what Rob was saying. The new coordinator is Shane Steichen, which was the LA Chargers coordinator. His ADP is currently 84, being the average, to 158 being the worst. So the reason why I picked Jalen Hurts is because his strength of schedule is 32nd overall.
I figured the strength of schedule had something to do because he's in the NFC East, the NFC League.
It's 32nd overall. And just to kind of give everybody an idea of what he did in a 4-game span, he had 1,061 yards with 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and the surprising part, 354 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns. That is a 16-game pace of 4,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and this is the crazy part. Had he stayed on that pace, he actually would have broke Lamar Jackson's record
for rushing
yards. Yeah, which is 14-16 with
Wow.
12 rushing touchdowns. So that's just in a 16-game pace. The O-line last year was ranked 19th overall at the end of the season. But before the season started, they lost 2 of their key starters to injury on the O-line. And by the end of the year, 4 of the people that were there when they started were also not there at the end of the season. So they'll be receiving all these guys back, which I think will help the O-line significantly because they did have a nice O-line in 2019. Another reason is they do have the 20th ranked defense in allowing points. Now, in fantasy football, if you have a defense that gives up points, that means you're going to have to throw the ball, and you're going to have to try to counter with some offense.
That means your offense has to score points,
right?
To try to keep up.
100%. And just to give everybody an idea, the notable weapons that they've added is Devontae Smith. I feel like Jalen Reagor's in his 2nd year. Dallas Goedert there, he's been heavily targeting him. Zach Ertz and Kenneth Gainwell, which is one of the running backs that they drafted that has excellent hands. And to tie into what Rob was saying, again, because he was speaking on Herbert, Steichen, he actually pushed Justin Herbert to be great under the scramble. I guess he kind of clipped his wings and let him go pretty much. Would you not say?
For Jalen Hurts?
No, just
you're talking about the coordinator for the Eagles was the coordinator for Herbert?
Right.
Herbert, I mean, he ran when he had to. So did Jalen Hurts, but
right.
I don't know if I would say that his wings were clipped. I think they let him play.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I meant. Well, Herbert ranked 1st in pressure attempts to Hurts' 7th in that 4-game span, just to kind of give you an idea. It looks like they analytically read into Jalen Hurts.
Got you.
And said, okay, well, this would probably be the best offensive coordinator to cater to the way he plays,
Got you. That's why they went out and got him.
Right. So within that 4-game span, he was 9th in yards under pressure and 2nd in scrambles with 10 scrambles, and that's Jalen Hurts. So that's my quarterback breakout. So leading on into the running backs, who you got?
That's a good one. You want to go to running backs next?
Hit it.
Okay. I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like I said, my breakouts may be easy picks.
No, Clyde is good, man. I like Clyde.
I'm not gonna give the numbers and kick the ballistic statistics and analytics like you do. I just feel like his touches are gonna increase because he didn't have to deal with the all the drama of Le'Veon Bell being there anymore. What's the kid's name? Damian Williams. I don't know if he's coming back. I would imagine that he is. He sat out last year because of COVID. But I think that they will feature Edwards-Helaire more this year. It's just a gut feeling that I have because he's a year older. The running back position in the NFL takes a little bit of time to pick up learning the defenses, where to pick up the blitzes. I think they're going to trust him more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the other weapons are still there, which
Mhm.
opens it up for him. The offensive line, they addressed the issues that they had going into the Super Bowl. I think there were 2 tackles. They were missing both their starting tackles going into the Super Bowl. I think one guy retired. I can't call his name, but
100%.
they addressed that already. So Kansas City and Andy Reid, Kool-Aid, they understand the position that they're in. They understand that we have a chance to be good for a while, you know, as long as we have Mahomes and to put the pieces around him. So they're not fooling around. And he's going to be featured, I believe, more than he was last year. Why they didn't feature him last year, I don't know. Maybe they wanted him to get a depth to the offense, to the league. But when he got his opportunities, he balled. You know that because you had him on your team last year, and there were times when you felt like they were holding him back.
100.
But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think he balls out.
Right. I mean, I agree with you, and I mean, I think you're kind of downing yourself a little bit when you say he's not a breakout. He finished 22nd overall. So by what you're saying, being 22nd overall and jumping into the top 10 is a breakout.
Okay.
Totally. So, and I'm with you. I had him last year everywhere I could grab him. I was one of those drafters that drafted him in the first round. Rob saw it first thing.
That was a good draft pick. It just didn't pan out.
Right.
Would you do it again? I would.
100%. Maybe not necessarily in the early first, but maybe I'd say early second. I'd take him early second.
You wouldn't take him in the first round this year.
I feel there's better options right this second. Now, I totally agree with you that you could probably draft him this year, and that's probably where he'll end up at the end of the year for sure.
Running back 1.
He'll end up in that.
I think he'll be
10.
top 5. I think he'll be top 5 fantasy this year.
And he's in the best offense in football. That's key number 1, you know.
And yes, exactly. He's going to thrive this year. Last year, I don't know. I don't know what it was. There were games where he was on the sidelines a lot, or they wouldn't play him. You got to be on the field to be productive. So they were fooling around, to me. And maybe this year they won't do that.
Well, the one thing too, and you know this, Rob, the when you get a rookie running back, they don't necessarily always start off hot. It takes several weeks to get going, and then you all of a sudden start seeing them gain more trust with the coach and the offensive coordinator.
We saw that with Jonathan Taylor last year.
Absolutely. So I think that's a great pick. So rolling into mine.
Who you got for breakout running back for 2021 fantasy football?
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
Now I let that. You said, ugh.
Nah, Joe Mixon.
I'll give you one.
Joe Mixon. I put on the list that we're doing breakouts, comebacks, but I'll wait till we get to the second.
Yeah. All right.
Joe Mixon back up.
I'll do it again. So this is your thoughts of.
This is your break. Go ahead.
This is my breakout. Yeah.
Go ahead. Roll with it.
Gross.
That's probably what you think.
Yeah.
I know you're not the biggest fan of Joe Mixon, and I feel like I'm going to surprise you today with a lot of the picks that I have, because you know me very well in fantasy, and you know damn well that a lot of these dudes that I have on this list, I would definitely not pick.
Already.
But I got some shit. I got some shit on these dudes. So, okay. Joe Mixon, he finished.
What about Joe Mixon?
All right. He finished 48th overall.
Right.
He started 6 games last year.
That's why.
Going. Right. He his ADP right now is 20, 44th being the worst.
20th is his average draft position. 20th?
Yeah, it's being 20th right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of the reasons is because he's one of the best in the biz in missed forced tackles. He was 16th last year in that 6-game span. He is 6th in yards after contact. So I mean, he is a good running back. I know that a lot of people are like, well, I mean, we haven't really seen it, and he's been there for enough time. He's been there enough time for us to say, hey, we know what he is. But
this is his 4th year?
I believe so. Yeah. And the thing is, and I'll bounce into this shortly, but let me say his 20 stats here. So he had 119 carries, 428 yards, 3 touchdowns. On the receiving end, he had 26 targets, 21 receptions for 138 yards with 1 touchdown. A fumble and a drop. It's all right.
He only had 1 drop pass. That's damn good.
And I mean, you're looking at it. So the pace was at 337 carries with 73 targets. His catch rate, basically what you just said, is 80.8% catch rate. So he knows how to catch the ball.
Right.
And that's 1 drop in 6 games. Pro Football Focus has gone out to say that the O-line is the 4th most improved O-line during the offseason.
Well, they better be. They got the kid back there they drafted. They let it get his knee torn up.
Right. Well, they added Riley Reef from the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
The dude allowed 21 pressures, 7 hits, 1 sack in 1,003 snaps. That's pretty good. So
he's a sensei at his position.
Right. So they added him in free agency. They drafted Jackson Carman, right tackle out of Clemson. They're gonna have him playing right guard. And they already had Jonah Williams, which is he's a really good lineman. They did add depth in the 5th and 6th round also to the line, so adding some more depth. So they understood. For anybody that knew last year, their offensive line was not good.
Oh no,
almost non-existent. It was like 11 on 7, pretty much.
That's the reference I was making. They let the number 1 draft pick Joe Burrow get. I'm not going to say they let him get hurt. I mean, it was open the floodgates with their offensive line.
Which, I mean, is awesome that he's on his way back too. That's pretty tight, especially with the additions that they made on offense. And so they did some tweaks to the offense that I think were in the right direction. One of the main reasons why I think he will break out is because there is no Giovanni Bernard.
He's gone. Yeah.
Everybody that had Joe Mixon last year knew how much of a pest Giovanni Bernard was. Every time you saw him on the field, he was a pest. They ran him in those 2-minute drills, because again, they wanted to play quicker.
Right.
However, Giovanni Bernard accounted for 124 targets, 59 targets and 124 carries. So those are all vacant. Those are all there. Joe Mixon has the bag. The total opportunities for the Bengals running committee was for 11 carries with 102 targets. And that's in that's 3rd in ran plays, the games that Joe Burrow played. So they had the 3rd fastest pace offense.
Got you. So, I remember last year a couple of times, or at least in one game for sure, you said that they're playing too fast, that Joe Burrow, why? And I tried to explain to you that was the reason. So the reason being that they play fast with the rookie quarterback, you don't want to give the defense a chance to get set. They were that's what I think. That's why I think they play fast. You don't want to give the defense a chance to get set and blow up the rookie quarterback. Right. When you're playing fast and you're snapping the ball fast, you got the defense on their heels. I believe that's what their goal was. I think that's why they played fast. So I can recall there was a game. He was like, man, they're going so fast. So it's like they don't want the defense to get set. Mm-hmm. Fast breaking their asses.
Right. And if you remember, because again, I drafted Joe Mixon last year. I thought last year was going to be his breakout year. And with everything happening and stuff like that. However, I was mentioning that I felt like they needed to use the run game more because they were just putting all the weight on Joe Burrow's shoulders, every single bit of it. And I get it. I mean, Zach Taylor, his background is offense. I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to run fast-paced offense. They're going to do it. They didn't sit there and draft Jamar Chase for no reason. They went offense first in the draft. So, but with that being said, if you got a fast-paced offense producing points like that, when you get ahead like that, that's good for the running back. So
that's when you pile up those fantasy junk points.
Right. So, and like you said, I mean, a high octane offense That's where it's at, man. You get running backs in high octane offenses, like you mentioned, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think Joe Mixon's gonna have a good year.
Okay, already. Well, it sounds like from the intel, from the analytics, statistics, and ballistics you just kicked, it sounds like the Cincinnati Bengals may have a good year, but they're in a pretty tough division. But addressing offensive line issues, like you said, they did. Their defense is, it's not the best in the division, but
it's sus.
Yeah, but most years, all those defenses, whether it be the Browns, Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, most years, all of those defenses are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
They're not in the bottom half.
Right.
Usually all four of those teams' defenses are. It's a staple for that division. I mean, they usually have pretty strong defenses. So what I'm saying is, with the intel that you've gathered on them about their offense and their defense, if it's, I don't know, middle of the road, middle of the pack, the Bengals may make a little noise this year. 17-game schedule, they may go 9-8.
Quite possibly. It's not far-fetched.
Yeah.
I think they'll improve. They will improve. And I truly think that with the Joe Burrow injury, they are going to rely on other offensive resources.
Their receiving course pretty tight.
It's tight as shit, but I'm just saying that's what I think them understanding he's coming back from injury. I feel they're going to use the running back this year because they don't want to put all that weight. He's just coming back from injury. Now he has looked rather decent and sharp. I mean, he's had some training camp days where he's been a little bit off, but still, I think he's going to be all right. And I think they'll run the offense how they need to make sure that, he doesn't have all the weight.
Gotcha. Not just injury, but serious, significant injury.
Right. So,
all right, that's we're gonna roll the dice with Joe Mixon one more time because you had him as a breakout last year. That just came to fruition right now. We didn't know that. That's why you have him on your team. But we'll roll the dice with Joe Mixon one more time. I'll let you roll with Joe. we're gonna move into the breakout wide receivers next. I'll let you shoot off first.
Oh man.
Breakout wide receivers.
I'm gonna need a cup of water. All right, I got you. So
is your breakout wide receiver that bad?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think my breakout wide receiver is on par with what I think is gonna happen. I have a crazy ass dog over here trying to lick my balls.
Okay.
Shit.
Life happens, even in podcasts.
I got you. It's all good. So my breakout wide receiver for the 2021 season is Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry. I like that.
Scary.
I had him last year in the ESPN league.
Scary Terry, man. He finished 20th overall. His average ADP is 36th. His worst being 45. He had 134 targets with 87 receptions last year, 1,118 yards and 4 touchdowns. 16 games.
87 catches, 4 touchdowns. And he was available every game. There were some games from the middle of the season on to the end where he was questionable, but he suited up every game.
I mean, you're talking about with Haskins. You're talking about with dude, his quarterback play was horrendous. So he had Dwayne Haskins throwing him the ball. He had Taylor Heinicke throwing him the ball, Alex Smith, Kyle Allen. Yeah. They ran through the whole quarterback room with him. But anyway, so the reason
and now who do they have chucking in the ball? My guy? Is it my guy?
That's
His magic?
His magic, dude.
He's gonna make shit happen with McLaurin. That's a good. I like that pick now. Yeah, I like that.
I love that
they don't like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but the dude, when he gets to play, he fucking performs.
Right. Well, he has his ups and downs, but I'll tell you what, he hyper targets the shit out of the tight or whatever receiving options he has. He hyper targets. So funny that you say Fitzpatrick, because that's who I was going to bring up next in this part of my breakout. So Fitzpatrick, I want to make a little comparison here. Fitzpatrick in the 2019 season, he played 11 games with the Dolphins, And the player that benefited the most while Fitzpatrick was at the helm was Devontae Parker.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
And you saw firsthand, you may recall, but I actually won a championship with Devontae Parker on my team. I picked him up off the waiver wire. It's pretty.
I think
awesome.
that was in NFL.com.
Ah,
in that league?
No, Yahoo.
Okay.
Shout out to Yahoo. Give us a sponsor, yo.
Anyway, so it would have been last year when you won the champion, or a year before?
Yeah. But
okay.
I digress. But anyway, Devontae Parker. So just to give you a little information on Devontae Parker that year, he was 14th in targets, 3rd in touchdowns, and 4th in yards with 1,202 yards. Fitzmagic was 10th in touchdowns going deep and 9th in completions going deep.
20 yards or more, yeah.
Right. And 9th in attempts. So he likes to chunk it with his eyes closed. With his eyes closed, he'll do it.
And that's, well.
With his eyes closed, man.
Is that who it was we caught on still shot with their eyes closed?
Hey, with his eyes closed. So
that's the knock on him. That's why a lot of coaches don't like him when they don't want to give him opportunity. He gambles.
He does, but the gamble worked out that year. There was a 3.7% drop rate, which is excellent accuracy on his part. This is the kicker. McLaurin only had 3 drop balls and 134 targets in 2020.
No, he snatches the ball out of the air, without a doubt. I like the pick.
And fits the mold as he caters to what McLaurin does best on the field. McLaurin statistically is best on the outside left and the outside right. Just in a little comparison in numbers, Parker was 98.3 grade score out left, 92.9 out right. McLaurin is just right under that at 95.8 out left.
Okay.
89.5 out right. So basically they said, okay, Fitzmagic has made a player better elsewhere. This is where our player is best at. Let's get him a guy that can enhance his strength.
Oh, that's an excellent pick, man. I like that one myself. I mean, I just drafted him last year because I think it was his second year.
Yeah.
This will be his 3rd year, smarter. He's not just a football player now, he's a professional.
Yeah.
He's always available. And the best ability is availability, as we both know. And the guy, he's going to have a consistent guy chunking him the ball. And like you said, he's going to hyper target him. That's an excellent breakout right there, because you said he had 87 catches. He only had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns, man. That's crazy. Huh?
Yeah.
That's going to go up.
Yeah, he'll have well over 100 catches.
Yeah.
And touchdowns. That's a breakout.
Yeah.
At least, I'm not giving the analytics. That's what you do. But my gut, because I know Fitzpatrick's likes to chunk the ball, I say, I would concur 100% that Scary Terry is going to have a breakout year. Yeah.
So, and the thing too is, I mean, that you say that he hyper targets. I mean, he accounts for 32.4% of the passing touchdowns. That's bad with 4 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty bad.
Yeah,
so I foresee that going up. So they obviously target him. He demands 21% of a target share. So
now here's the only drawback. Head coach is Ron Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
He's old school. Mm-hmm. He wants to run the ball, play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the kid, Antonio Gibson. Mm-hmm. They like him. They let him start carrying more of a load last year.
And they sued them in, just like Clyde. Same situation.
Same situation. They slowly, as the year went on, he got more responsibility, more carries. That's the only thing that I would worry about as far as McLaurin breaking out. But I still think, with all the information that you just dropped, that I can see him having well over 100 catches, 110 to 120, 110, 115, and that's 23 more catches. And I know he's going to have more than 4 touchdowns, because the point that you made about who was chunking the ball last year,
100%.
There's no consistency. So let's hope Fitzmagic stays healthy, and
I
We see
mean,
the breakout come to fruition.
if he does, this is what's going to happen. I mean, it's going down. I'm just saying, man. I like McLaurin. Let's move on.
All right, my breakout wide receiver was not really a breakout, but I'm going with it because I did the research on it, and I'm going to give you my main reason after I tell you who he is. It's Calvin Ridley, and
Right on.
it's just as simple. Oh, Robbie Rob gonna break it down for you like a fraction, that boy. It's simple, that boy. He gonna be the number one target now, boy. Julio Jones is gone. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he had a really good year last year. He had 90 catches, 1,374 yards. He averaged 15 yards per catch, a little bit over 15.3. His longest catch was 63 yards. He had 9 touchdowns. That's a pretty damn good year already.
Oh yeah.
But I think with Julio Jones being gone and him being the number one target, his numbers are going to go up. Now, obviously, you got more than one receiver on the field. I think on the other side of the field now will be Russell Gage. I expect him not to break out, but to maybe have the type of year that Calvin Ridley had as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I mean, they were still targeting him last year as the third option, and he gave you some good games.
Russell Gage?
Yes.
Well, he's going to have more targets now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, big Julio's gone. You see, when you feel me?
Yeah.
2021, this is what I'm projecting. He had 90 catches. I'm going to say he's going to catch 30 more balls, 120. He had 1,374 yards. I'm going to say he's going to have at least 1,500. That's not a big increase. I say his yards per catch goes up to 17 over 15. And I think he only had 9 touchdowns. I'm going to give Mr. Ridley 15, 16 touchdowns next year.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's that fucking Devontae Adams shit.
They throw
like
the ball in Atlanta. It's Matt Ryan. I mean,
I like it. And they're like you said, defense
defense sucks.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or do what Atlanta likes to do. They like to get just inside the opponent's 50 and then fucking bring that young hoe.
that young hoe.
Yeah, they're satisfied once they get past midfield.
That's really not it. It's young Quay, but come on, man, you gotta admit it's funny to say.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I like that on broadcasting, though. They really try to make sure they get his name right. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, they don't want to make a mistake, and they're scared to death whenever he probably comes out on the field. But it looks like what it is. Just say it, young ho. But it's young way. But you know what I'm talking about. But that's what they do. They get over midfield and they kick field goals. That's why I believe your sister Vivi had him last year and she dropped him. And I was like, shit, give me that young ho.
Dude's bad.
I'll roll with the young ho. Young ho helped me get to the championship. But those are the main reason simply is because Julio Jones is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw the ball. It's Matt Ryan.
That they do.
He actually got Todd Gurley, I guess, is still the number one back.
Yeah.
But he's not Todd Gurley of 2018.
No, he's no longer there. He's no longer there. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know what the running back situation is.
You got Mike Davis, showed up last year in Carolina, filled in for Christian McCaffrey. And then you have Quadri Olson.
Quadri who?
Olson.
That's my point.
Or Ollison, I believe.
They'll be chunking the ball. And they drafted Kyle Pitts.
100%.
They'll be chunking the ball.
And just to add a little context to where Rob is getting at, Matt Ryan actually finished first overall in the league in attempts. So, I mean, that's a great pick, I think. If you're talking about
bring the numbers. That's how it works. That's how we do it, folks, on TMI Fantasy Sports Podcast.
That's right.
We only kick the analytics. I'm just telling you what my eyeballs see.
That's right. So, but what you're saying is you think Calvin Ridley, I mean, you think he could be a 1 or a 2 overall?
He's going to be top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah, he was
top
already
5.
close though, but you
got a couple of guys that are falling by the wayside. Michael Thomas, he's not going to be top 5 anymore.
No, but I think the numbers that you're saying, that's top 2.
Astronomical.
That's top 2. That's top two to me.
But that's what I'm saying.
I dig it.
So get you some Calvin Ridley when the draft starts, kids.
That's it. I agree. And he's not getting drafted in the first round. So,
Nope.
man, kick it off with the tight ends, man. Because this is a kick it off. I know you just went off, but go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all good. The breakout tight end that I have, which is the last skill position for breakouts, is Philadelphia's own Dallas Goedert. Part of the reason I picked him is what you were alluding to earlier about Jalen Hurts. He will throw the ball to the tight end, which is smart because he's going into his second year. He was a rookie. At least he's smart enough to know to check it down to the tight end. But I'm gonna give you his numbers from let's see, 2018. He only had 33 catches, but Zach Ertz had 36. He only had 334 yards, 10 yards a catch, which is excellent. That's giving you a first down every time he touches the ball. His long was only 32 yards, and he had 4 touchdowns. Zach Ertz had 1. 2019, he had 58 catches. So his catches went up. I'm not going to say they almost doubled. His yards almost doubled. Went from 334 to 607. Average is about the same, 10.5. His longest catch is about the same. His touchdowns went up 1. Zach Ertz had 6. That was the year that they were featuring Zach Ertz.
Right.
In 2019. Then last year, they were trying to run what you call the 12 personnel, the 2 tight end set.
Sure.
He had 46 catches, right? He had 58 the year before, so he fell off by 12. However, he was hurt. I want to say Dallas Goedert missed about
4 games.
4 to 6 games.
4 games, yeah. Fractured foot.
So his yards were 524, which is 75 yards less than the year before. His average per catch went up. His long went up. His touchdowns were down because he missed the 4 games. So if he's available, which is the best ability is to be available, and with the new coordinator that they have,
coordinate.
You got to coordinate. I see Jalen Hurts targeting him a lot because the wide receiver core, who's there now? Jalen Reagor is it the second year? What's the guy that I can't stand? That's why I can't call his name because guys I don't like, I can't think of their names.
He ain't there. I know who you're talking about. He ain't there. That
good.
That Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon, yeah.
He ain't there no more, man. He's a free agent. Everybody figured out.
He's probably gonna stay free.
Yeah, everybody figured. Well, he ain't gonna play the first 4 games, even if he's healthy. He never does.
Right.
Kicking it.
Just getting that game check.
Pina colada.
Now, when I say breakout, I'm putting him to finish top 5 tight end because the tight end is a premium still. I don't care what the experts on ESPN, Field Yates, Matthew Berry, all these so-called experts always tell you every year, you don't have to draft tight end to the 6th to the 8th, or you can get a tight end, quality tight end in later rounds. Well,
shots fired, yo.
He will be gone before the 6th or 8th round. He'll be gone before then. If he's still on the board, then whoever gets him in those later rounds is lucky. Yeah. Because the tight end will be a premium again this year. Kelsey's going to finish first. Kittle will probably finish second. Waller maybe third. Or those guys to me are like 1A, B, and C. Yep. And then after that, you got the rest of them. They're independent, not dependable. That's just my opinion. That's what I've seen. I don't trust the experts. I go with what the fuck I think is right.
Yeah.
That's why I drafted a tight end last year in the early rounds. Matter of fact, I drafted tight end the first round, I think. My first pick last year was Travis Kelce.
Right.
So
yeah, your strategy was on point. You ran a 2 tight end set. He ran 12 personnel in fantasy.
There you go.
But
it's something new.
I have to piggyback on you, Rob, because I've been raving about Dallas Goedert. Check out our website. We have an excellent article on Dallas Goedert on our website, and it'll kind of give you a little more context. But Dallas Goedert, I'm with you. when you say 1A, B, C, I truly believe Dallas Goedert can be D. He can be that guy, that fourth guy that just explodes. I'm ranked fifth, but however, I can see him be that guy. His fantasy finish last year was 20th. His ADP right now is 97th. Worst being 136. He is going in the 7th, 8th, that area. Some people are creeping in the 6th with him. I think no matter where you draft him in that range, you will be happy at the end of the year. Again,
You're lucky to get him there.
Yeah, we believe so. Obviously, both of us believe so. Camp Hype has stated that Jalen Hurts is heavily targeting Dallas Goedert. And to add a little more perspective to Dallas Goedert, he ranks 80th percentile on both receiving and run blocking, which means he does not
on the field.
come off the field. Yeah. Or higher. He is the number one tight end in both gradings. And he's been the number one tight end in the last 3 years, above George Kittle and everybody. So, and just so everybody sees, Stan Steichen, the Chargers' previous OC, he actually ranked third in total league targets and distributed 21% of those targets to the tight end position. So it was there. They are running 12 personnel.
That's an equal amount.
Yeah.
Target share, because if you got 5 receivers, every play you have the potential of having 5 receivers, unless you bring in the jumbo set, but you got, whether it be 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers. So in other words, he's getting a fair share.
Oh,
100%. An equal amount is the same amount as the wide receivers.
Yeah. And Devontae Smith is still banged up. As of now, we haven't seen him on the field yet. He's banged up, but he is their prospect wide receiver that they drafted this year. And lastly, Philly had the second most targets to the tight end position in 2020. Now, it is a different regime. However, I feel that they see what Jalen Hurts is doing, and I feel they're going to continue on that. They obviously hired the people to work around Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts has been named the starter. So, and they made this decision late last year. They got rid of Doug Peterson.
He had some success. So, yeah.
They ran with it. They're rolling, man.
Why not?
Yeah. So they're rolling with it. I feel that all the hires they made are them saying they're rolling with it. So, man, Dallas Goedert, get you some Dallas Goedert.
And I'm gonna just drop this one little nugget to sum it all up about Jalen Hurts. A lot of people were upset or thought that he wasn't NFL quarterback material. I'm just gonna say this: Jalen Hurts is smarter than most folks know. What I mean by that is he knows to hit the tight end. He's not gonna focus on one guy. Smart quarterbacks will use the tight end, is what I'm getting at.
100%.
If you got a good tight end, use them.
It's a safety valve.
Exactly.
100%. That being said, we're going.
That wraps up the breakouts. That takes us to the next segment of comeback players.
And here we go.
The great comeback. The great
Bring them
comeback.
back.
Let me say this, let me show up, put a rap in the mouth of the doubters in the back. Let me say this, let me show up, put a rap in the mouth of the doubters in the back.
Great comeback.
Bring them back. Bring them back. So we're gonna do 2 each, right?
Oh yeah, 100.
All right, I'll start. My first comeback player will be Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys. Not as a homer pick. I just think Zeke fell off last year. He's going into his 6th season. He looks sleek and slim. But the bottom line, the main reason I think that he's going to have a better year, all this is pending or hinges upon Dak Prescott, though. We've already touched on that. But the main reason I say Zeke is going to come back stronger than last year and the year before. Well, the year before he had a pretty decent year. The offensive line, all of them 100% healthy to start the season. And he's never had less than 275 touches per season in his career. So it's Ezekiel Elliott. but he didn't have the year. Last year it was 244 carries, 979 yards, average 4 yards a carry, 6 touchdowns. He had 52 catches. So, that falls in line with what I said. He had 275 touches. I think his touches will go up. I think he'll score more touchdowns. But it's because of the offensive line is why I'm saying that he will have a comeback season. He's going to rush for more than 979 yards. You bet your sweet ass on that. Remember, you heard it here first.
I agree. Ahead of the curve. Hashtag.
Oh, we'll flip you the bird.
You already know. You already know. But nah, man, I think that's excellent. Honestly, I would have picked him myself, but you being the smart man that you are, picked him. Man, Zeke's looked sharp in training camp, man. Like he's looked sharp.
Zeke is slim and sleek.
Yeah, and it's Zeke. I mean, people know who he is. People know who he is, and he's actually creeped up. Anybody out there doing mocks, check it out. He's going 3rd overall right now in full point, half point, shit.
Doesn't matter.
Standard, it doesn't matter. He's going 3rd overall. People are understanding that
what happened last year was a fluke.
Right. And people like Alvin Kamara are dropping off because of the quarterback situation. There is no Michael Thomas, so who the hell are they going to throw it to? And then you have Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. And then you have Jonathan Taylor dropping in the ADP ladder. So Zeke's next man up. He's going 3rd. So I love it. I dig it. My first comeback is George Kittle. Kibbles and bits.
Kittles and bits.
Kibbles and bits gonna eat this year, man. He gonna eat this year. You'll see it.
I like the pick.
And again,
you have to convince me.
I this might be me cheating because everybody's like, it's George Kittle. Yeah, but I'm putting this
year that we expected last year. Granted, he was hurt, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's gonna come back, and he finished 19th overall. He started 8 games. His average depth position is 26th, worst being 46th. Last year, he had 63 targets, 48 receptions for 634 yards
in 8 games.
This is the kicker: 2 touchdowns. That ain't gonna happen again.
No, not in 8 games. Not in 5 games.
He had an injury-riddled season. He had a foot injury. He had an MCL sprain early on in the season. He was 87th or 82nd in receptions, which that's not going to happen again. So, in that 8-game span, he had 4 games under 60 yards, which is unlike him. If you saw his 2019-2018 season, when in the 2017 season, you saw him break out late in the year, and those that drafted him the year after, i.e. Rob, benefited tremendously with him in fantasy football. So this is the other reason why I feel George Kittle is going to come back and put a foot in people's asses.
Let me guess. Trey Lance.
Well, partially, yes. The quarterback situation is going to be a little different, but this is what we do know about San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan knows his identity. He's gonna stick to his guns, man. You know this.
Well, it works.
Yeah, he's gonna stick to his guns. His philosophy on offense will continue. And with that being said, they are facing 12 teams that ranked outside the top 10 with points against the tight end in fantasy this year. So
he'll just have 6 tough games.
Pretty much. And you know damn well, even in tough games, he does well. I mean,
he does well, but there'll be 6 games where, he'll be the focal point against Seattle, the Rams, and Cardinals. He'll probably eat off the Cardinals, though, but
the in-division teams are actually some of the better ones against points against the tight end. But their schedule will, I think, allow them to feature Kittle a lot more than they have. And not only that, Deebo Samuel will be back. The emergence of Brandon Ayuk last year, I feel, will keep defenses occupied.
High-powered offense.
That's right.
And double team anybody.
No, and you know damn well they run the ball, so they're not predictable. You're not gonna know what they're gonna do this year. They have a quarterback that can potentially run now, because Trey Lance, you give him the ball, he don't see anything. He's going to run through the gaps. He's going to scramble to the right, left, whatever it may be. He's going to get out of trouble. He's great with his legs. So I got George Kittle, man.
I like George Kittle. You don't have to tell me twice. You already know. All right, that's your first comeback player. Let's go to the second one. You want to keep it rolling? Who's your second comeback player?
You go.
All right, I got Mr. Saquon Barkley, who helped me. I think it was his rookie year, going undefeated in Yahoo. I drafted him. He was sitting on the board, and I had my next pick was either him or Ezekiel Elliott, and I chose Saquon Barkley. Now we all know he got hurt last year. Saquon Barkley in his rookie season, he finished second in fantasy, only to Todd Gurley in points. Todd Gurley had 313 fantasy points. Saquon had 294.8. He was roughly a game behind Todd Gurley. He had 217 rushing attempts for 1,003 yards, 91 catches.
That's astronomical for a running back.
91 catches.
That's insane. That's a wide receiver.
If he could have half the catches,
I
think the rushing yards will be there. And I think the reason I'm saying he's going to come back because Danny Dimes is, he's going into his third year. He should be a little bit smarter now. They got the kid Evan Ingram at tight end. I think all the pieces, all the skill position players should be coming into camp and going into the season, starting out the season healthy. What happened to Saquon last year, the defenses, they loaded the box. And he couldn't get off.
No.
They didn't know to load the box his rookie season. He was a bomb nobody expected to happen.
Right.
So his second year, they loaded the box on him. I'm not saying that's why he got hurt, but he was having a tough time before he got hurt. And the guys that we're talking about, as far as comeback players, if you think about the guys we're talking about, they're all competitors. Everybody that makes it to the league is a competitor. But think about the guys we're talking about: Ezekiel Elliott, George Kittle, Saquon Barkley. Guys like this, they carry chips on their shoulders. Not everybody does.
No.
Some people don't. Some people, as they say in America now, they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're Alshon Jeffries.
Now you got it.
Sean Jacksons of the world.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. I can't play until week 15. I'll catch a couple passes and I'm hurt again.
Yeah.
These are not those guys. That's why we're calling them comeback players of the year.
Right.
That's why I picked Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
And I stayed in division as well, as you can see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of room for improvement in that division, as it was the shittiest division last year. I like the pick. My thing is, will he start? The start off the season. That's my only thing with Saquon. Will he start off the season? I think they have enough offensive weapons. As you said, they did add Kenny Golladay to the mix. So they understood they gotta add some more options and spread the offense.
Yeah, they have to spread out the defense.
Yeah.
So
right. Exactly.
Focus on him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They need to spread the offense to make the defense
loosen it up.
Right.
So he can hit them gaps and seams like he did in his first year.
I'm with you. I have him actually ranked about 15th because I don't think he's going to start the season.
I think they're being coy.
No,
I've seen him interviewed a couple of times. I think they're being coy. If he doesn't start the season, I don't know. When do you think he will start playing?
There's been all kinds of reports out there saying that he might start week 3. He might start they say he's ready to start week 1.
That's why I said they're being coy.
Right. They're a bunch of coach speak bullshit, and they might be just blowing smoke.
That's right.
It's quite possible. But I like the pick, and shit, we've seen what he can do. I don't believe in that offense just yet. I don't believe in Danny Dimes.
Yeah, well, and now you got Red Jesus coordinating it. For those who don't know out there, Red Jesus, we're referring to the old Dallas Cowboy coach, Jason Garrett. So we'll see. You may have a point because he wasn't very successful at calling the plays for the Cowboys, and he had pretty good. He had a better group of offensive talent versus the Giants right now. I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you brought that up. That's why I had to put the alarm.
I hear you.
All right, man. I'm gonna surprise the shit out of you with this pick, man. You're
Second comeback. Second comeback player. Go ahead.
You ain't gonna believe it.
I don't believe shit till the shit happens. Tell me who it is.
I got you. My second comeback player of the year is Cooper Kupp.
I mean, well,
okay. Secretly. I mean, you know damn well. Me and Robert.
You don't like him, I know that.
We
don't
met
like Cooper Kupp.
I was like, I can't stand that motherfucker. Anyway, that's not what this is about. This is about fantasy. So,
right.
Yeah. And it might have been that he had taken away from my options at the particular moment. Anyway, Cooper Kupp, 2019 season, he finished 14th. He finished 27th in 2020. So big drop. His ADP right now is 55th.
Wow.
Worst being 80th. He did return from ACL tear year last year. So basically he was returning from that ACL tear he had late in the season the prior year. He actually came back. If I'm right, he got injured around week 11, somewhere around there.
It was late in the season.
It was late in the season, and he still started that next season. So
he's had a whole season to recover.
Right. So, but in 2020, he did have 124 targets, 92 receptions for 974 yards with 3 touchdowns.
Years, it's not the touchdowns weren't there.
Right. So, and they did add Matthew Stafford. So Matthew Stafford has been known to toss 18.6% of his targets to the slot wide receiver and 22.6% of his targets to the running back. Cam Akers is gone. That's one of the reasons why I have Cooper Kupp here, because they're gonna have to divvy up the targets. They did add Deshaun Jackson, but he'll probably only be there for a game anyway.
He won't play until Thanksgiving.
Or he'll probably just be there for a game.
That's it.
Which hold on, let's take a quick pause here. Over under. He plays more than 3 games. What you got?
Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, just real quick.
Give me the under.
Take the under?
Taking the under.
I'll take the under as well.
He'll play week 1 and you won't hear from him till after Christmas.
Getting his kids presents and shit. Trying to shop.
Bookmark it.
All right, so a little more on Cooper Kupp. Josh Reynolds is gone. Gerald Everett is gone. No Cam, no Malcolm Brown. That's 126 vacant targets. I don't expect Deshaun Jackson to carry much of that. This is arguably Matthew Stafford's best offensive line in his career. In the 2020 season, Cooper Kupp was this is my favorite stat out of my whole little deal. Cooper Kupp was 70% from 10 to 19 yards and 84.2% from 0 to 9 yards. Those are his best categories on the field. Matthew Stafford is 60% from 10 to 19 yards to the slot and 75.8% from 0 to 9 to the slot.
Okay.
In 2019, Kupp's best year, 4th overall fantasy wide receiver, he scored 10 of those touchdowns in those ranges. The 10 touchdowns that he had were in those ranges. So,
and those are the ranges that Matthew Stafford likes. I feel you. You put 1 and 1 together and coming up with 10. I feel you. All right.
That is why I'm picking Cooper Kupp.
That's good shit. That's good intel.
So and you know how I feel about Cooper Kupp. And again, it's not a hate on you, man, or anybody. It's just it pissed me off every time you took my guys' targets. That's all.
Hey, it pisses everybody off every time anybody's taken.
For sure. No knock on him.
Comes to that in fantasy.
Yeah. So, but I think that's the guy, man.
All right, we'll roll with Cooper Kupp. I'm gonna keep an eye out on Cooper Kupp and keep an eye on the wide receiver core for the Chargers. That's my homework. Let me get that down.
The Rams.
No. We talked about earlier about when I'm making a reference. We talked about Justin Herbert earlier, and I said it.
I got you.
He's another receiver.
I feel you. I got you. I'll shut up.
Keep an eye.
Writing it down.
Yeah.
Chalking it up. Put
Yeah.
that over under on there for Deshaun Jackson too, just so you know. Might have to keep record of that. Visit later on this shit because I bet you anything he won't play more than 3 games.
Over under. Deshaun Jackson.
Chalk it down. With that being said, that concludes our comebacks leading into the Whiskey Digs.
The whiskey digs. Working on the ground, looking for a good time. Thinking I'm a busting up with your roster. Little did you know I'm a motherfucking imposter. It'll cost you and let you down. The whiskey digs. The whiskey digs. Let you down when you're trying to bust a nut.
Damn. Whiskey dicks, limp dicks.
All of it. You're gonna let you down when you're trying to bust a nut.
Those are the guys. These are the guys to stay away from. The ones that you think are gonna, where you're gonna get that. Yeah, you're gonna get that ooey feeling, but they're gonna let you down. Okay. This is the final segment. I would like to start with Michael Thomas.
Woo.
He was Fantasy's #1 wide receiver just 2 years ago. Now all of a sudden he's hurt all the time. I don't know that I would take a chance in drafting him. I forget how long he's out for, like 12 weeks after the surgery.
No. Yeah. We'll probably see him week.
Yeah, he's not going to start the season.
No, we'd be lucky to see him anywhere between week 6 and week 8.
So that's a limp dick. I mean, he can't give you anything for 6 to 8 weeks. That is the epitome of a limp dick. I mean, why would you draft a guy and have him on the bench? And so I've done that before, but I've learned I probably won't do it going forward. But he's my limp dick #1. Whiskey dick #1 is Michael Thomas. I hate to say that because the dude was awesome. I mean, can't guard Mike, and now he's done. I don't want to go so far to say as his career is over, but he doesn't have Drew Brees chucking him the ball. And that whole offense is, I mean, it's Sean Payton still at the helm, but
they got a new identity. They got to identify themselves again.
All over again.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Would you draft him anywhere in the draft at all?
I'm not sure.
So you stay away from him completely.
If he was around maybe like, I don't know, 10th round. I don't know if I would. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I draft a guy not knowing that when he's going to play in 6th or 8th week. And then I don't know what he's going to give me because the offense is not the same because Drew Brees is not the quarterback. Plus, Drew Brees like to throw the ball to him.
Plus conditioning. I mean, he's going to have to get back into football shape.
Get back in game shape.
Yeah. So no, I'm with you.
Now,
I could probably
win you the league later on.
Yeah.
But we don't know who's going to be throwing the ball. If it's Taysom Hill, even if it's famous Jameis, I'm just
crab legs.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I got you. Right on.
That's my first one.
I got you. So I'm going to give you my first whiskey dick. It's going to be Logan Thomas.
Tight end for the Washington football team.
He finished 3rd overall in the tight end category. His ADP is 99, 153 being the worst. So the previous QBs, the committee, the whole room, threw him 109 targets. He caught 72 receptions for 670 yards and 6 touchdowns. I don't see this happening again. Simple reason being they added Adam Humphries and Curtis Samuel to the mix. They're now in that blend. They're in that salsa. So I don't see Logan Thomas having that amount of targets thrown his direction again.
You got a quarterback that wants to chunk it down the field and not check it down to a tight end.
Well, and this is the thing. Historically, Fitzpatrick in the past, he's had like a roller coaster of numbers on him wanting to hyper target a tight end to wanting to hyper target a wide receiver. The latest trend has been the wide receiver. So I'm going to roll what I've been seeing because I think that's why they acquired him, for his services to do that. So, and Fitz,
they need to stretch the field, loosen up the defense so Antonio Gibson can get off.
Which, yeah, 100%. And I mean, Antonio Gibson's on his second year. He has excellent hands. They still have J.D. McKissick, and Fitz has developed nice chemistry with Adam Humphries in training camp, according to beat reporters. And Fitz, I mean, again, he hyper targets his ex. He hyper targets his number one. Yeah. So, and Logan Thomas lines up 65.7% in the slot. Fitzpatrick throws 18% of his targets to the slot. So I feel like those numbers are going to go down, and there's just entirely too many mouths to feed in Washington. So I got Logan Thomas as my first.
All right, I'm going to surprise you.
Let's go.
Well, no, I'm going to save my surprise for last. My second whiskey dick is Darius Slayton. I've drafted him in all leagues that I've played in the last 2 years. And he's just not, he may start out decent, but I don't know. He's inconsistent. And that could be because of the quarterback play. Mm-hmm. But there are people on ESPN experts saying that he was going to break out last year. And I thought I got him in a steal. I think I picked him near the end of the draft. I think I got him in the 16th round or so, but I ended up dropping him. And like I said, I drafted him in ESPN and Yahoo last year. I drafted him in, I want to say, both leagues the year before. Mm-hmm. And that's the guy I'm going to stay away from because he's just, I don't know, it hadn't come to fruition.
He
has games, mm-hmm. but then there are games where he's quiet. He's got no stat line, no catches, and that's I can't have that in my lineup. Can't have that on my bench. So that's my second whiskey dick, Darius Slayton, New York Giants.
That's pretty mean for a guy that tweeted you during halftime.
That wasn't really him. I found out.
Oh, really?
That was an imposter.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an imposter. Yeah.
Right, well, that dude was a whiskey dick or chick or whoever the hell it was. So fuck them. Anyway, I mean, with the addition of Kenny Golladay, you still have Sterling Shepard there. I see where you're coming from. I don't know. I've never really been high on Darius Slayton.
Eat off of Slayton's plate.
Huh?
I think Golladay will eat off of the Darius Slayton's plate.
Now there is Kenny Golladay is I think he's banged up with a hamstring injury. I know I didn't mention that in the 411, but he had hamstring problems last year. That's what kept him out. So they could feature other wide receivers, but I mean that'll make more of a point. They did last year and he didn't do a whole lot. He had a lot of games where he was silent. So but all right, I'm with you. So my second whiskey dick is Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The thrill is gone.
Oh man.
Away. Yeah. That Odell Beckham in the New York Giants days
is gone. It's gone, and I'll tell you why. He started 7 games. His ADP 72. 113 being the worst. He's coming back from an ACL tear. That's not an injury you just come back from and you're superb and elite. I mean, he hasn't really had much. He's been doing drills and stuff like that, but it hasn't been intense, full football contact. But just to put context to this, He's 42nd amongst all wide receivers in the 7 weeks that he played. Baker Mayfield was ranked 31st in those 7 weeks out of all 32 qualified starting quarterbacks. In between weeks 8 through 17th, Baker Mayfield was the third best quarterback statistically without Odell Beckham.
So in other words, when Odell Beckham left the lineup, Baker Mayfield got better.
100%. Training camp hype has been that Baker Mayfield has developed a nice relationship with Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones, if I'm right, he's in his second year.
He's got a nice receiving core to work with.
Yeah. And
is it T. Higgins?
No. That's
T. Higgins is with the Bengals.
And this is a crazy stat to me is that Jarvis Landry has had 100+ targets absolutely every year he's been in the NFL. So Jarvis Landry has been his go-to. Jarvis Landry has been his safety valve just about every time. I know that his fantasy numbers don't show it, but I could see Jarvis Landry having a decent year this year. And not only that, 45% of the Browns snaps are rushing snaps. They are the 21st pace offense, and they distribute 53% of those targets to the wide receiver position. So, and they like to target the tight end too. Believe it or not. So they throw 31% of those targets to the tight end. So I don't see Odell Beckham having a good year. I know everybody loves saying his name. He's stylish. He has fire. But I'm staying away from Odell Beckham in the draft.
Already. All right, Whiskey Dick, Limp Dick, number 3. Last one for me is going to surprise you. We talked about it already in pre-production, is Dak Prescott. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's something more to his shoulder than they're letting on, which the first thing that will make you a Whiskey Dick is the fact that you can't play. You can't get on the field.
You sit there and take a drink and you're about to fuck, but you're like, oh shit.
Whatever. But
gotcha.
I hope I'm wrong. But again, you kick the ballistics, analytics, statistics. I'm telling you what my gut's telling me. I give you what my gut's feeling. I don't think Dak's going to finish the season. I just don't. I hope I'm wrong, but I think there's something wrong with his shoulder as to where they're putting it off, and he may try to play with the injury throughout the year. Some people do that. Brady played with some kind of injury to his shoulder last year, I think it was, but they didn't reveal it until after the Super Bowl, or his wife revealed it. But I think that's where we're headed with Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. When you have to ask the local baseball team trainers to take a look or get suggestions or ask them what's going on with our quarterback, that tells me that the training staff for the Cowboys, not that they're incompetent, but that just sounds alarms to me. Mm-hmm. And you could look at it another way and say, well, they want to make sure, and that's why he's having an MRI, I think,
next week. Mm-hmm.
So I hate to say it, but I don't want to say the young man's breaking down because he's a young man. Yeah, but he's somebody that I wouldn't draft. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about Whiskey Dicks and Limp Dicks, right? Mm-hmm. I'm staying away from Dak Prescott, put it that way.
You said that your comeback player was Zeke. You still feel Zeke will do good if Dak Prescott, like, let's say he's
because they're going to run the ball more than trusting in Gail Gilbert or
I got you.
Whoever the second string quarterback is.
All of them. The Nucci.
They'll run the ball.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then the threat with threat of just having Dak there is.
I think he'll start, but I just don't think he's going to finish the season.
You think it'll require surgery or
that's what I'm feeling. And again, God forgive me, I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want to see anybody hurt, but that's just what my gut's telling me.
Yeah, I got you. Right on. I mean, I think everybody would hate to see it. And especially okay, so just to add a little more out there, he's currently going what, fifth, sixth, seventh, somewhere around that range.
Fifth through seventh rounds.
Yeah. So are you saying you also wouldn't draft him in the later rounds, or
If I was put in a position as to where I didn't have a quarterback yet, then yeah, I would. Like last year, that was what happened to me with Carson Wentz. Didn't really want to draft him, but I had to have a quarterback because I waited to pick one.
would you draft him in the 8th or 9th? Dak Prescott?
Depending on how my team is filling out, how I'm filling it out.
I got
But
you.
if I needed a quarterback at that particular time and I saw, well, shit, there's the pickings are getting slim with the kid from Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, or Mac Jones, or Cam
Mac
Newton,
Jones.
you know, I would pick him over those guys.
I got you. Right on. And there you go. There you have
But
it.
I would probably also draft his handcuff.
You probably don't want his handcuff, whoever that is. The Nucci.
No,
Rush.
they got 4 quarterbacks on their roster right now. I don't know.
Or Gilbert.
They're trying to help DiNucci land another job. They're gonna have to cut him. If they don't,
they might hire him and do a different part of the organization.
yeah, take him off the roster and make him the offensive coordinator.
Something like that.
Cowboys do.
That's what they do.
Who's your last of them day?
All right, man. This is where, again, you said my breakout. I picked Joe Mixon as a breakout. You were wrong. That wasn't my breakout last year. My breakout last year, and you could ask just about anybody in any team or league or that I was in, was Miles Sanders.
Right.
Miles Sanders was my guy. He was my.
He's gone from breakout to whiskey dick.
He's gone to whiskey dick, man. I mean, I may have been on some drinks myself that night. Who the hell knows when I picked him as a breakout or whatever. But anyway, he finished 23rd overall. His ADP right now is 33rd, worst being 80th. So, and again, I'm basing this off the 4 games that Jalen Hurts played. Because again, this is what they decided to do. They're rolling with Hurts. So with Hurts, Miles Sanders was out of the top 50 in overall running backs, rushing yards, and receiving. So he was at the top 50, period, in that 4-game span. And just to give you an idea of some players that were better than he was, just to make it sound really fucked up, Le'Veon Bell was better than he was. LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy was better than he was. Brian Hill was better than he was in that span. That's pretty bad. He was in the bottom 20 in drops out of all running backs in that 4-game span while playing 11th most in snaps. So just to kind of add some perspective there, they did draft Kenneth Gainwell, which I mentioned earlier. He is a pass specialist. He has excellent hands. So they obviously noticed that with Jalen Hurts at the helm, they just don't have that chemistry. And I think they've learned to figure out that Miles Sanders is not a 3-down back as much as they wanted him to be. Now, Miles Sanders I'm not saying that he's a bad runner. He is a good runner between the gaps, and he's elusive as a runner, but you're only probably going to see him 2 downs a snap, Not only that, in this span, Jalen Hurts was second in rushing attempts out of all quarterbacks. So I could see them running some RPO. So there's I think Jalen Hurts at the helm hurts Miles Sanders a lot. And this hurts me because again, he was one of my guys. I had him in just about every league last year, and I just don't see it. I want to stay away from Miles Sanders. Not only that, Nick Sirianni is the new head coach. Nick Sirianni was the offensive coordinator to the Colts last year. Anybody that had Jonathan Taylor knew how frustrating it was to have Jonathan Taylor throughout the entire season because they didn't fully trust him yet. They didn't play him all the time. They ran 3-4 different running backs, and they drafted running backs. So I could see them using committee here.
Just based upon the OC's history. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, Miles Sanders. That's your. So you got Logan Thomas, Miles Sanders, and who?
Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ.
That's it.
Well, that wraps up the Limp Dick, Whiskey Dick segment of the show. That brings it on home.
Man, that brings it on home. It's a good show, man. Fucking the launch, dude.
Already. And again, we want to thank you, viewers that have been waiting for us to launch the show. We apologize for the technicality problems that we had earlier. And this concludes the TMI Fantasy Sports Podcast, The Maiden Voyage. Remember to check us out at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find Rahli at Raul Beats. Remember, the E is a 3, and I be Icy Rob Cole. We appreciate it. Subscribe. Yeah. Click that like button. Take us on home, Rolly.
Whoops.